had 2 races dominated by 1 man, but here we are for the first round of the Heusingfeld Triple Crown Challenge. We're here, the big one before the big one. We're at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but not for the 500, but for the Grand Prix. For the first time in league history, we take to the road course first before we take to the oval. Sam Cooper Bennett up in the booth with you. Joined with me alongside with me is Tony Trapasso. Tony, it's going to be one hell of a race here, 40 laps.
Every race that the Indy Elite Series puts on is a hell of a race, Sam. So that's not going to be a shocker here. And I'm impressed with what I've been seeing so far in the hot lap session, with the speeds and the control that these guys are showing on this tight, twisty road course.
Absolutely, as we have seen the usual suspect absolutely blistering laps out there tonight, so he's going to be a hard person to beat. That person is Joshua Chin, so watch out for him tonight. But I just want to throw out a few sponsors before we do go to our live qualifying. Just want to say that this is the first round of the Heusingfeld Triple Crown Challenge, Indianapolis Motor Speed with the Indy Grand Prix. If you win, you're in with a chance of claiming the big prize. If you win all 3, you get a big prize. If you win 2, you win the next prize down. If you win 1, you get another prize down from that. So the Heusingfeld Triple Crown Challenge starts here. Next round will be Pocono after this, so let's see who can take the 4 and get the prize at the end of it. Want to give a couple of shout outs to PZ Overlays, who supplies our usual overlay. Also want to give a shout out to Race Spot TV, who also supplied tonight's overlay for the race. Also want to give a shout out to the Thorskin podcast. If you want to hear guys talk about superheroes and have a bit of fun, then please do not hesitate to give them a look. They are on all good streaming services. Also want to give a shout out to our primary sponsor, our primary supporter, pH Aware, one of the most undetectable diseases in the world and very hard to diagnose. If you want to find out more about pulmonary hypertension, please do go to phaware.global. Right, Tony, we're just getting into qualifying now, and it's a 10-minute long qualifying session. So what are your expectations for tonight's qualifying?
Well, my expectation is going to be more of what we saw in the hot lap session. You know, you're going to see the usual suspects up towards the front of the field. One of the things that I'm really looking forward to, you mentioned it earlier, Race Spot is going to be back next week, as these guys actually take to the 4 turns that are the infamous Indianapolis Motor Speedway Oval, and for the 500, for the Indy Elite Series 500 next week. So I'm actually going to be tuning into that one. I normally don't watch a lot of open wheel stuff, only because I was burned out a little bit with some of the broadcasts that we were doing. But this series, with Race Spot TV doing the broadcast next week, it's going to be as close to the real thing as you're going to find.
Yeah, and Race Spot are the guys that usually run this series. This week we are filling in for them as they are taking a week off. Want to go back to the last couple of broadcasts, Tony. Mr. Joshua Chin absolutely dominating the field these last couple of weeks, and by the way he's looking set to do that again here tonight.
He was 3/10 to the good in the hot lap session. Currently, are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? 1.25 seconds to the good already.
And that's not even this. Oh, you know what I mean? The race hasn't even started yet, and he's already dominating this
there we go.
race.
Jamie Wilson trying to keep him honest. Good one, Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie Wilson's been his closest competitor throughout the hot lap session, so no surprise to see him up there in the standings. But he is his teammate, so he's got support there as well as a rival.
What do they call those? Frenemies, I believe.
Yeah. Sitting in third place, we do have iRacing IndyCar royalty in the room. That's Mr. Adam Blocker there in the 74. multiple winner of the official Indy 500, Tony.
True story, and it's good to see him, throwing the gauntlet down tonight and see what's what here on the road course. Expect to see him really have something for these guys next week on the oval. It's not to knock Adam, but as far as I know, he's not as accomplished, and I'm going to preface it with that qualifier, not as accomplished a road racer as he is on the Indy Oval here, but still not a slouch on the road side. Absolutely,
as he's sitting in fourth behind the resident Englishman. Well, there's three British guys in this, but Henry Bennett, the fastest of the UK and Ireland runners out there tonight in the 007. The Green Machine is out there in the top three again. Let's go to Tim Holgate, a man that has had absolutely zero luck in this championship defence this season, and hoping to have a change of luck tonight, because the last couple of weeks, well, the last few weeks, all season, he's just had none of it.
Well, the one that we haven't talked about yet is the 14 of Andrew Kinsella, currently sitting fourth quick. We saw just a remarkable drive out of him the last time we were able to bring the action of the Indy Elite Series to the masses like we are tonight. Just a remarkable drive. Couple of near misses and a partial dumpster fire that he had to put out, but still put it on the podium.
Yeah, great run for Kinsella last time round. That was 2 weeks. I can't believe that was 2 weeks ago already where we ran at Barber, and what a race that was. Less cars in that race than there are tonight. We've got 22 cars looking to take the green tonight. One of the usual front runners in the Indy Elite Series is Liam Quinn. He's there in 20th place. He hasn't set a lap time yet, but he is out on his qualifying lap right now.
Well, expect to see him, running in the top half of the field most of the night. Liam is definitely not one to, be a slouch on any form of road course. When you get north of a 4,000 I rating, like the vast majority of this field has, you can't be considered a slouch in any way, shape, or form. And watching these guys do what they do reminds me of why I'm normally in bottom split when I go to a road course.
Absolutely. As Liam Quinn actually put a lap time down good enough for 13th place. Let's go to another man that's out on track. That's Michael Peters, actually missing last week's race in that Miller Lite machine because of setup issues, but he's back out there tonight and determined to right the wrongs that affected him last week. Austin Espetti, another man out on a mission tonight. He's another one hoping to right some wrongs after having two unlucky races, one at Long Beach and last time out at Barber. So look for Austin Espetti to be up there too.
Yeah, the thing is, Sam, and you can't really count out anyone in this field. I mean, yeah, there's of course, in every series you have the haves and the have-nots. But the tight twistiness of the Indy infield road course is going to be the great equalizer tonight, with the fact that you have to, you're up on the wheel, you're constantly changing direction. Except for the short run down the front straightaway, you're never not steering the car. So that's about the only place on the track where you actually get a chance to take a deep breath and kind of take in what you just experienced on the previous lap, and it's over before you really get a chance to finish the breath.
Absolutely, as this is it's always close running with these guys. They know how to race each other, and I talk about Adam Blacker being iRacing IndyCar royalty, but you got to say that all of them really are, because they're always in the top splits in IndyCar racing, and always doing well in the official races. As qualifying looks like it's about to come to an end now, so We've only got John Downing, Christopher and Austin Espetti out on track right now. Actually, Espetti just bringing it pit side, so we've just got John Downing and Christopher there. There is John Downing right now. He is on his 3rd lap of 4, so... Oh, his 4th lap of 4, sorry.
Well, Sam, getting back to what we were talking about with, never count anyone out. I'm looking at the safety ratings on some of these guys as far as, license levels and whatnot. We've got 7 guys with a 4.9 A license. And then 2, 3, 4 more that are north of a 4. And all but 2 of the drivers are north of 2,000 with their I rating, which for those of you who don't know how the sim works and aren't familiar with what those numbers mean, it means that if you put anybody in this field in a normal race without the rest of this field in there, chances are they're going to be top 5. No matter how big the field, no matter what you do, if they're not racing against the other guys in this league, they're going to be one of the top 5, if not top 3, in whatever split you put them in.
Absolutely. As we've just watched Christopher completing his qualifying run, is actually qualifying has just come to an end as I just spoke about Christopher. So before we go to tonight's race, let's go to tonight's grid. As there it is. No, where is it? Ah, come on now. No, I've lost it. Do you want to call out the grid, Tony? Because I've lost it.
Sure. Joshua Chin going to be starting up on the point. He's going to be joined with Jamie Wilson. Both those guys are the 2 of the 3 who went 1 minute 10. The 3rd one is, of course, Sam's countryman Henry Bennett. No relation, by the way. The only 3 guys who went 1 minute 10. Row 2 joining Henry is going to be Andrew Kinsella. Starting in the 5th spot is going to be Adam Blocker. He's going to be joined with Simon Bryant. Brad Walters is going to be going off from the number 7 spot. Number 8 spot is going to go to Adam Plunkett. Tom Holgate and John Downing make up row number 5. Row 6 is going to say Andreas Elk and Liam Quinn. Row 7 is going to go to Niall McBride and Chris Stouffer. Joe Branch and Tom Miller are going to make up row 8. Row 9 is going to see Tanner Watkins and Austin Espetti. Andrew Wood and Dan Ench are going to make up... Yeah. Sorry?
Dan Lee Ench. Yeah.
Dan Lee Ench.
Yeah.
Are going to make up row 10. And Joe Flanagan and Mike Peters starting in row 11, shotgun on the field.
Now, as they're all getting gridded up there, some part of me thought it was going to be a standing start tonight, but it's actually a rolling start as they're going to go around the whole length of the track. This race, I can only assume, is going to go very quickly. I mean, they're setting lap times between 1 minute 10 and 1 minute 12, so 40 laps around here are going to go rather quickly around the home of American Motorsport.
You're not wrong.
As they are now rolling, we've got 2 Team Chimera cars on the front row there. That's Joshua Chin and Jamie Wilson alongside him there. You can tell the difference there between the 2 drivers, as Joshua Chin has got the purple wing mirrors and the camera and the purple helmet, as Jamie Wilson has got the yellow wing mirrors and the yellow camera. So that's how you're going to tell the difference. Let's have a look at Kinsella, what colour he's got. It's all green, so actually
well, Sam, if I can point something out,
yeah,
and maybe I'm seeing things, but I don't think I am, is that's 3 of the same team in the first 2 rows.
Pretty much, yeah.
So three of the top 4 starting spots.
Yeah, so Henry Bennett's got some defending to do, as he's going to have Andrew Kinsella right beside him on that second row. So a lot of support there for current championship leader Joshua Chin. Let's go to our championship standings actually before we go to tonight's grid. Let's go and find it there. Joshua Chin
Better make it quick, Sam. They're almost there.
I know. Joshua Chin sits at the top of the standings after winning the last 2 races. Kinsella second. Bryant drops to third. Liam Quinn is fourth. Austin Espety sits in fifth. Tim Holgate in sixth, despite all the bad luck he's had. Seventh is Henry Bennett. Eighth is Bradley Walters. Ninth is Joe Branch. And rounding out the top 10 in the standings is Christian Steele. Is that quick enough?
Works for me. This field working its way back out onto the main part of the oval. And those of you who are IndyCar fans will recognize that there were quite a few cars last year during the real life 500 that went airborne and upside down in that section of track.
Yeah. The name escapes me, but yeah, it was that New Zealand guy.
Get your hate mail coming, folks. That's Sam Cooper Bennett with face cards in. Joshua Chin going to have control of the field, and we are underway with the Indy Grand Prix of Indianapolis.
Absolutely, as Joshua Chin gets off to one hellacious start, but they're all going to close up as they come into that tight right-hander of turn 1. There they all go. Everybody getting through safely by the looks of things. Yes, they are. Everyone's going to make it around through turn 1. Nice and cleanly. Let's go back to our leader Joshua Chin, who's actually pulled away. He's checked out as Henry Bennett has moved up to second, and look at Adam Blocker. He's up to third now.
Blocker up to third, and Bennett, I don't know if you saw it, but going into turn 1, he just bombed it in there, and it was one of those moments where as a driver you kind of close your eyes and go, please stick, please stick, please stick. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, so that is our second place driver, that Henry Bennett. Adam Blocker is in third. Jamie Wilson is in fourth, not getting off to the best of starts there in the number 87. So Joshua Chin does not have the support behind him, but by the looks of things, I don't think he needs it as he comes onto the oval.
Almost 2 full seconds to the good already as we're getting ready to end lap 1. Bennett and Blocker are going to basically just be doing battle for the rest of this race right now, unless something goes horribly wrong. I expect to see the 4 cars that are 2nd through 5th right now. That's going to be 3 of those cars are going to be your podium.
Yeah, as we've got the 2 teammates battling it out there. That is John Downing and Adam Plunkett getting it side by side. As here comes Liam Quinn, he takes away P10 away from Plunkett. So battling with his teammate didn't exactly work in his favour, as he's now dropped out of the top 10. Here comes Chris Stouffer as well on the outside of Plunkett. So Plunkett losing a few places there as they make their way through the twisty turning part and bring themselves onto the long straight at the back of the track. So looks like Plunkett is going to lose some places, as here comes Austin Espety as well, qualified 18th on the grid, but really coming through the field now as he gets his way past Chris Stouffer and up into P12. Meanwhile, let's go back to our battle for second places. Henry Bennett still holding off Adam Blocker, who's sitting there in third, as they come around to complete lap 2 of 40. And yeah, I think
Blocker right now is just testing the waters to see, where he could make a move when it comes time to do so. He's kind of biding his time right now, kind of saving his equipment, making sure that he's got something there at the end. Because you see he's closing right up coming through that initial S section. And as they go onto the short back chute here, you'll see him, really right there in the slipstream. Ooh. Ducks out, thinking about it. Can I try to make a pass here later on when needed? Yeah. As they come onto that back chute right now, this is your one of your DRS zones, but these guys have that whole push to pass button to see what can happen. So you got to think that he's kind of testing the waters of where can I do it, where can I not do it, where might it not end up as a dumpster fire.
Absolutely, as they are coming onto the prime push to pass area right now, as they made their way onto the oval, the usual turn 1, which is actually the final turn on this track. It is Bennett in 2nd, Blocker in 3rd, Wilson in 4th, Kinsella 5th, 6th is former championship leader Simon Bryant. He's going to come into the shot there right behind Kinsella.
And we've got a new 2nd place.
Adam Blocker diving it in and taking away 2nd place from Emery Bennett. Now Adam Blocker's been released. Can he go and catch up to his usual sparring partner in the official series, Mr. Joshua Chin? It looks
4 seconds up the road is a big ask for anybody. But if anybody could do it, Blocker, Blocker's got time to reel him in, and you got to figure we're going to see at least 1 pit stop here.
Absolutely, as he comes down the back stretch into the tight left-hander. I want to give a quick shout out to this corner. This one is probably one of the toughest corners in motor racing. That's like the right, left. It's a weird corner that is around this track. But anyway, let's go back to from admiring corners and go back to Andrew Kinsella, who has got his wing mirrors full of Simon Bryant there. Simon Bryant looking for a better result here tonight after last week's 7th place. Last time out, lost him the championship lead to Joshua Chin, who just absolutely dominated the final proceedings. As we go back to Liam Quinn, who's putting a move on John Downing now, as they make their way down towards turn 1, backs out of it just at the last second.
Kind of had to. That was one of those. If I don't give, I know you're not giving, and we're both going to end up on the trailer, in a heap if we don't. So discretion being the better part of valor, especially we're only working lap 5 of 40. So
yes, Liam Quinn there, and John Downing are actually very close behind Tim Holgate, who's quietly sitting there in 8th place, just biding his time at this moment. I think, just like me in the Top Fuel Racing Series, I think he just wants to make it to the end of the race this time. As he makes a mistake coming out of that left-hander, that's going to leave him in the hands of John Downing. Oh, no, John Downing gets spun around by Liam Quinn. And that ended in disaster for the number 20, as he's got to lock it down and wait for a gap to come back out on track, and he does. Let's go back about 30 seconds and find out and see again what happened. Making their way into that tight, twisty section, it was actually Tim Holgate making that mistake going into left-handed. There was the mistake. John Downing getting a run on him, having to back off, and then Liam Quinn having nowhere to go and just turning him around on that left-hander.
Yeah, you just got to chalk that up to a racing incident, and you aren't expecting the car in front of the car you're battling with to have an issue, but if it does, you're not going to have a chance to react. Nobody has reactions that quickly.
Absolutely not. As John Downing, no damage on his car, however, so he's able to keep some speed in that car and keep it going, but he is way down the field now, back in 18th place. Let's go back to Adam Blocker now, who is actually still in 2nd place, coming onto the oval now. He's actually starting to gap Henry Bennett, and is he closing the gap on? No, he's not. It's 5 seconds now.
Yeah, Josh Chin is he's in another time zone right now.
Yeah, as you see him making his way through turns 1 and 2 and into that nice long right-hander on, well, we've got 34 laps remaining, and Joshua Chin being immovable right now, as he is got a nice little gap out in front. It's 5.4 seconds at, well, 5.6 seconds at the moment. Simon Bryant there, it's fallen back a bit from Andrew Kinsella, so Simon Bryant, another one that's actually racing conservative right now, just want to wait until the pit stops happen and then make his move near the end of the race. Let's go to another one we haven't mentioned today. That's Mr. Joe Branch. He's back there in P13, not really under pressure from anybody, except he has Andreas Eick behind him there in 14th place, and Andrew Wood there is not far behind either.
Well, I'm thinking Joe's, again, just biding his time, making sure that he's got a car to be around at the end, because as the old adage goes, in order to finish first you must finish. And you know, we've seen races in the past where it's been a race of attrition, and you've got to be around at the end in order to have any shot at it at all.
Yeah, I'm loving that throwback scheme on his IR18, as that is, if you don't recognise that paint scheme, then you're not a true IndyCar fan, as that is the Newman Haas paint scheme that Michael Andretti won the championship in. I think it was 1995, 96, around about that time.
Yeah, that was Michael's last ride, actually.
Yeah, so there is Michael Andretti's biggest fan there, Mr. Joe Branch, making his way around the track. He's been followed by Andreas Ike there in 14th. Andrew Wood has actually closed down in that Dunkin' Donuts, number 32. Oh god, more paint schemes to make you hungry again, Tony.
I will be right back.
Okay, no problem. Let's go back to Adam Blocker there, who's actually pulled away, right away from Henry Bennett, who's actually got Jamie Wilson right on his tail now. So he's got the two Chimera cars behind him in Jamie Wilson and Andrew Kinsella. Simon Bryant currently sitting there in 6th place. Bradley Walters in 7th. Tim Holgate still holding on in 8th, but look who's right behind him, Mr. Austin Espetti. This is probably your closest battle on the track right now between two of the biggest names in IndyCar racing, Tim Holgate and Austin Espetti, as they're battling out for P8. Going into the tight left-hander now. They are not close enough to really battle out, as Tim Holgate runs slightly wide. That's going to let Austin Espetti get right onto his gearbox now as they pull onto the backstretch. And is Austin Espetti going to make a move as they go into the tight left-hander? He thinks about it, but pulls back in. And Holgate lives to fight another day as he makes another mistake in that same corner. He made a mistake before that caused the incident between John Downing and Liam Quinn. So Tim Holgate having another difficult race here at Indianapolis as he comes onto the oval. I can't help but think that Austin Espetti is going to have a nice big run as they come around the usual turn 1, the final turn on the road course. Push to pass activated. He's going to be alongside him going into turn 1. And he is. Is he going to get it? He does. He gets his way past Tim Holgate. So Austin Espetti taking advantage of Holgate's mistakes and moving up to P8 now. Now his next target will be Bradley Walters in that number 56 machine, but he is a good 3 seconds up the road from Austin Espetti. But Espetti's a fast driver. He knows how to close the gap, so watch for him to get up there to the number 56 very soon. Let's go back to Liam Quinn now, who's on an island all to himself now after the unfortunate dispatching of John Downing, who's actually made his way up 2 positions now. He's up to P16 as we are just about to come to 30 laps to go. Already 10 laps done in this event as Joshua Chin has a 6.4 second lead over second place Adam Blocker. As you can see, he's coming down into turn 1 right now. 3rd place is Henry Bennett, is still being chased down by Wilson and Kinsella as they go through turn 1 into turn 2. Going into turn 3 now, this long right-hander. Really got to get it wound up to get it into the next right-hander there. It's like a double apex corner as they go into yet another sweeping right-hander and into another left-hander. You've got to brake very, very carefully for and keep it wound up and get it sorted as another right-hander comes up and they make their way on to the backstretch. Put the foot to the floor as you're going to make your way towards that tight left-hander that's up ahead of you, as Wilson's going to try and take a look as they go into the left-hander, not really going to get it done. This is the tightest part of the circuit as they go left, right, left. A nice tight right-hander there as they bring themselves onto the oval once again, and Henry Bennett really holding on for dear life ahead of Jamie Wilson right now.
Bennett doing everything he can to stay on that podium right now. Wilson, you know he's going to want to join his teammate up on the podium, as we saw him do last time we were here with the series at Barber. And don't count out Andrew Kinsella, because he's still within striking distance as well.
Yeah, as Jamie Wilson considered making a move there, didn't activate the push to pass this time round on the start-finish straight, as Henry Bennett still holds on to third place, going through the two right-handers again. As let's go back and look at Simon Bryant. He's not far behind either. He's about just under 2 seconds back. So look for him to, well, he's actually conserving his tyres. Well, I did mention before that he was behind Kinsella at one point, but actually dropped back. But if you look right behind Simon Bryant, he's actually got a teammate in support of him, and Austin Esparti, who we've just witnessed have that epic battle with Tim Holgate in 8th place. He's now starting to reel in the 56. Let's go back and look at Niall McBride, a man we've not really spoke about too much in that MFC number 41. The Irishman really having a quiet one so far tonight. He's just ahead of Adam Plunkett there, who's in the number 40 machine. The third of those three, I want to say turquoise cars? No. Green cars? I don't know.
Yeah, turquoise.
As he is defending against Liam Quinn, who's closing in on him. So he's the meat in a British sandwich right now.
He's the meat in a British sandwich right now, and unfortunately, I want to barbecue a Virginian. Which, those of you who have followed Sam and my career in broadcasting, you'll get the joke.
Yeah. As Michael Peters has actually fallen, well, he's one lap behind already. So Michael Peters, he's not had the best of runs lately, but still holding on and still going. He's actually managed to get out on the track this time, unlike last week where he just could not get the car right and decided not to run in the end at Barber. So good to see him out on the track and still actually running and staying in this one. Meanwhile, let's go back to second place, as look at the gap now between Blocker and Chin. It's down to 1.9 seconds. So Blocker is now starting to reel in Joshua Chin, Tony.
Well, we're getting near the end of the fuel run, I fear, and I'm thinking Josh Chin, going balls out as early as he did, burned all of the goodie off his tires, whereas we know Adam Blocker knows how to conserve his gear, and what was at one point a 6-second gap is now down to under 2 seconds.
Well, Joshua Chin just responding there has actually managed to get the gap above 2 seconds now. It's actually 2.3 seconds now between Blocker and Chin. So Joshua Chin knows that Blocker's starting to catch him and has actually started to respond now. Meanwhile, Joe Branch is in pit road, and it looks like Adam Plunkett's in. So pit stops are starting to unfold now, Tony.
Yeah, Bryant, Walters, Plunkett, the first ones to really blink that were running towards the front of the field. You got to kind of wonder how long are these guys going to stay out now that there are guys with fresh tires. We're 26 laps to go. We're 15 in. I'm thinking these guys are going to try to stretch it to at least lap 20, maybe 21, to make it a one-stop race, because we've seen the different strategies where a two-stop race at some tracks works, at some tracks it doesn't. This track, I'm thinking, because it's so tight and twisty, a two-stop strategy is just going to shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, Simon Bryant, if you remember back to Barbers, tried that two-stop strategy. That did not work in his favour and dropped him right back for the field, which ultimately cost him his championship lead. As that looks like Austin Esparti that's coming out of pit road there, and it is Austin Esparti, one of the big runners to blink, as that is Niall McBride coming out of pit road behind him as well. So it looks like we might be on for a two-stop strategy here, Tony.
Some of these guys are, with it being this early, unless they're thinking to just fill it up here, top it off. I don't know if they can make it from here. That's the big question.
Yeah, they've only lasted 15 laps on that run, so you think about it, on lap 10, with 10 to go, that might be the time they have to come in again and top it off and get some more tyres. So definitely looks like a two-stop strategy for some of these drivers out here tonight, as we've got nobody else that's come down pit road yet. Austin Espartee was the last one out of pit road. Well, actually, Noah McBride was the last one out of pit road, as oh, that looks like John Downing coming into pit road now. So we've got another one coming down in the shape of the number 20. Let's
Sam, I'll be right back.
Okay. And let's focus in on John Downing's pit stop there as he brings it down this long pit straight here at Indianapolis. I mean, it doesn't seem that long in an when it's during the 500, but on the road course it is so long to get around. As there he is, just jumping into his pit stall. How many seconds can he get in there? And question is 7. He's in there for longer than 10 seconds. Wondering if he's getting some damage fixed or something, because he's in there over 20 seconds now. As we're hearing some incidents ahead. Not sure who that is. That's
Henry Bennett.
Henry Bennett's involved. Henry Bennett's in trouble. Let's go back and see what happened as he makes his way out of the final turn. Let's go and see what happened.
Overcooked it into one.
So while we were watching John Downing in pit road, this is what happened to Henry Bennett. Overcooked it and spun it round. That's going to let Wilson up into third place. Actually lost it to Kinsella as well. So that third place drifting away, all because of a simple mistake for the 007.
And looks like Downing may have cooked it, overcooked it on cold tires as well. Oh! No, he got into it with the one.
Oh,
Downing and Holgate get together coming into the main part of the meat of the infield section. Downing on cold tires just locked him up and just basically, for lack of a better term, doored the one of Holgate.
So Holgate's bad luck just seems to continue here tonight. As it looks like he's had to tow the car because of what looks like severe suspension damage, as he tries to keep it going there, but I don't think he's going to go he didn't go any further than that. I think he towed it at the end of this straight, and he did. He just pulled it over and called for the tow truck, and he's still sitting there in pit road now.
Yeah, that's a rough one. You really have to feel for Tim there.
As his championship defense is getting really in bad shape right now. I really have got a feel for Tim Holgate. His championship defense is turning out to be a disaster so far this season.
If it wasn't for bad luck, I don't think he'd have any luck at all.
And that's telling the truth right there, as Adam Blocker is actually losing time to Joshua Chin again, and that's the reason why he's actually stuck behind the 28 of Joe Branch. Joe Branch not really letting him by to go and catch the number 93, and that's really hurting his chances of actually getting up there, Tony.
Well, I don't know if it's Joe's not letting him by, or if it's just that Adam just can't get by, because Joe is on 15 lap fresher tires.
Absolutely, as he is not really actually making a move to try and pass Branch. So wondering if Blocker is actually conserving the tires now and hoping to try and stretch them out for a one stop. As we've got Andrew Wood in pit road now, so he's the next one to blink. As he brings it down out of pit road. Let's see what time he had actually in pit road. It was 8.2 seconds in pit road, so good time for the number 32 there. bringing it down out of pit road, and he's going to have a whole train of cars behind him. Be careful, because that's one of the leaders behind you, Andrew, as he lets him by nice and cleanly.
Lets him by as cleanly as he can. You know, he's got to be a little bit careful right now, because he's on fresher tires, but he's also on cold tires. And we've already seen issues arise with the cold tire issue, with guys coming out of the pits, you know, not expecting the grip level to be as horrid as it is on, you know, the cold Firestones.
Absolutely, as we're just focusing in on Jamie Wilson there, sitting in what has to be a very comfortable third place right now, as he is now 4 seconds ahead of his teammate Andrew Kinsella, so definitely not under any threat right now, and he doesn't seem to be threatening anybody else in front of him. So actually he's bringing it pit side now, so Jamie Wilson, one of the top five, the first of the top five to blink. Actually no, they're all in.
Adam Blocker, Jamie Wilson, all three of them in pit road.
Let's focus in on Joshua Chin right now, as we have all of the leaders in right now. Let's go to his pit stall. Yeah, that one. And there he is, bringing it into his box. How many seconds is he going to be in pit road? We've seen the last a couple of events, Tony, that Joshua Chin has been the master on pit road, and he gets an 8.9, not the fastest at times, but he gets away cleanly.
Well, let's see what the rest of these guys can do. Adam Blocker, 9 flat. Oh, that's going to hurt. Jamie Wilson, 9.2. Are you kidding me?
So Joshua Chin actually really blistering a time in pit road there. So his pit stop mastery really coming to the fore again, as he is out clean and green. And he is 10 seconds to the good over Adam Blocker now after all that.
Good grief. Good night, everybody. Oh, so you know, that really goes to show you why, you know, you've got a driver with an I rating bordering on 5,000, and he's showing why he's leading the point of this championship right now.
Joshua Chin really making a name for himself in this series this season. Really wants to put his name on that championship trophy at the end of the season, and he really is going the right way about it right now, as we're seeing, looks like Austin Esparty coming out of pit road again. No, it's not.
No.
Who is that? Oh, that would be Tanner Watkins, sorry. Very similar cars. Blue cars.
Adam Plunkett in the 40 going back down pit road as well.
So people with two-stop track. Actually, Plunkett's out of the car. Problems for Plunkett. He's out of the car, and he's put it behind the wall. So problems for the 40. He's out of the race. As we're looking at Dan Liensch, he's missing half of his front wing again. I wonder if he was involved in an incident with Plunkett.
I shall go find out.
Absolute disaster for the number 40, as he is out of the race. Tim Holgate is out of the race too, so more bad luck for the championship defending champion. But
oh yeah, that would be what happened.
Dan Liensch got into Plunkett.
No, Plunkett just ran him flat over.
Oh, so a bit of controversy there then.
Going into the S's on the backside of the backstretch, it just flat ran him over.
Ouch. Let's go back to Adam Blocker, sitting in second place, but way behind Joshua Chin now, as Joshua Chin is putting on an absolute clinic here tonight. Joshua Chin's teammate Jamie Wilson is sitting there in third place, and he's actually starting to catch Adam Blocker now. So Jamie Wilson really trying to stake his claim there for second place right now.
Well, he's trying to stake his claim for second, but he's not really gaining per se. These guys have been holding court between the two of them, as far as hovering right around a minute-ish since they both exited pit road. So if Adam Blocker, steps on his own junk, yes. Jamie Wilson is right there to capitalize, but that's another one of those big asks that I doubt we're really gonna see.
Absolutely, as he makes his way out of the final corner, not really making any headway on Blocker. Let's go back to Simon Bryant, who's actually found his way up to P4 now, but he was one of the first guys to pit in the first part of this race, so just wondering if he's got to bring it down pit road again as he has made his way up into the top 5. So good running for the 22, but could work against him later on in the race as he may have to bring it down one more time. Austin Espetti now is up to P6 as that is Bradley Walters chasing him down behind him, really charging hard and running wide through that right-hander there as Bradley Walters really driving on the edge now to catch the number 7, the 777.
Right on the ragged edge and able to still hold on to it as Joe Branch bringing it back down pit road. Looks like there may be just a tick bit of damage on that 28.
Oh, there's a lot of damage on that 28. He's got some severe front wing damage, so not sure what happened to the number 28, but definitely more shenanigans between him and another driver, so unfortunate there for Mr. Branch as he gets the front wing fixed. Let's go back and see what happened. No. There. He's got his front wing there. Let's keep an eye on him and watch what happened. He goes off track and actually damages his car on his own. So really getting it wrong for the S's and damaging the front wing all by himself.
Definitely not good.
Not at all. Let's go back to our battle between Bradley Walters and Austin Espetti. Espetti is there. Bradley Walters is right there behind him. This is the battle for P6 right now as we have 16 laps to go. This is actually the closest battle on the track right now between Austin Espetti and Bradley Walters. Two different teams, two different drivers. Austin Espetti not had the best of luck the last couple of races, really hoping to try and get up there. Had started the race in P18, so good running for him to be up in P6, but Bradley Walters really wants to challenge him for that position right now. As they make their way out of the final corner onto that long straight, which is usually the start-finish straight in the Indy 500. So we'll see that next week. They're going the other way round. As that looks like John Downing coming out of pit road right in front of Niall McBride. So Niall McBride will want to get around him as quickly as possible as he is trying to close the gap on Bradley Walters, but not doing so at the moment. He's 3.5 seconds behind the 56 right now. Henry Bennett, who had that mistake earlier in the race, has actually got wing damage now, and he is actually in P9 now, ahead of Liam Quinn, who's rounding out the top 10. Andrew Wood, who is mired in lead lap traffic, he is in 11th right now, and Christopher 12th, and Andres Ike all on his own there in 13th. And look who's chasing him down like a angry dog right now. That is Mr. Joshua Chin coming down to complete another lap with 14 laps to go now.
And while all that was going on, Sam, Tim Miller decided to go make sandcastles in the infield sand trap. Just got it all wrong going into the S's that lead to the onto that back straightaway.
As we see, yeah, that's Blocker going around him. I can't help but think that he... Oh, no, he got it all wrong for that corner and he spun it round. So that was through the S's again. So a lot of people making mistakes on that corner tonight, Tony.
Well, that was the first part of the S's leading to the back straightaway. We've seen both of the both ends of that back chute. You know, the corners leading into it have just been nothing but a headache, because that goes back to what we were talking about, where unless you're out on the oval portion of the track, you never stop turning the car and trying to change direction.
No.
So it can be very difficult to keep that car under you and keep it, to where you're truly in control and still fast.
Yeah, because this track, if you're not careful, it will bite you, because it may look like you're going fast through the oval section, as you just rightly said there, Tony. The back section will completely catch you off guard if you're not really careful, and that is exactly what happened to Tim Miller there as he was going through the back chute. As Niall McBride has got past Bradley Walters. So Bradley Walters is actually in pit road, so he's coming down for his second pit stop now.
He's coming down for a second pit stop, and I'd like to point out that Andrew Kinsella currently sitting in third, 8.5 seconds off of Adam Blocker. So Jamie Wilson, something happened there.
So interesting developments we've been missing there, as actually Jamie Wilson is actually being caught now by Austin Espity. Espity is up to P5 now after Bradley Walters taking the pit side. Espity actually making moves for the field. I'm wondering if Jamie Wilson had a spin somewhere that's made him drop down a couple of spots, but he is still running now as he's going to make his way through the final couple of corners, and he's going to try and track down his teammate. And Austin Espity is actually fallen behind. That looks like... Where is he? Joe Branch there. Yeah, it is Joe Branch. He's actually got around Austin Espity, so Joe Branch on the charge right now, even though he's a lap down. Let's go to our second place man, Mr. Adam Blocker. He's all on his own right now in second place, sorry. 11.6 seconds behind our long-time race leader, Joshua Chin. There is Joshua just coming onto the oval section now, going into the normal turn 2. Turn 1.
Yeah.
This track confuses me sometimes.
Next week the cars are going to be coming at you from the other direction, folks.
Imagine having an event where they're both going around the road course and the oval.
I have footage of what that looks like, not here, but at other places that have rolls.
Yeah. Not pretty.
There were plenty of first you say it, then you do it kind of moments, and a lot of near misses that an extra coat of paint on either car, the drivers would have been hurt, let's put it that way.
Sweet savage, let's put it that way.
Worse.
Oh, okay.
Think Niki Lauda at
Nürburgring.
Nürburgring 1976.
Yeah, as we just witnessed, Simon Bryant has actually made his pit stop. That's what promoted... Actually, I take that back. Austin Espety's just been in pit road as well, so we're missing pit stops here. I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen, as Espety's just been in pit road. Andrew Wood's been in pit road 3 times now. Simon Bryant...
Stouffer down pit road now.
So Stouffer's down pit road as well. He is in 12th, and he's first car 1 lap down. He's about to be overtaken by Joe Branch. No, that's Andreas Eick. No. It is Andreas Eick, yeah. Going around him, and that's Adam Blocker right behind him, so he's going to lose a lap to Adam Blocker as Christopher is out of his stall now.
To go too.
Oh wow, this race has gone really fast. There's Joshua Chin there in the lead, absolutely dominating this race. Let's go to Andrew Kinsella, who has got a charge of Jamie Wilson hunting him down now. The gap is now 1.5 seconds between the 14 and the 87.
Teammates, but still both of them want that podium.
Yeah, I'm starting to think, are they teammates? Because they may have similar paint schemes, as Wilson gets really squirrely coming out of that corner. But the other cars have got Chimera written all over the cars, but I'm looking closely at Kinsella's car. He's got Adrenaline written on the side of his car. I wonder if he's part of a different team, albeit with similar paint schemes.
That's what I'm kind of thinking, is if they're not teammates, then that's just a weird quirk of trading paints.
Yeah, as we see Kinsella. So maybe these aren't teammates then, and they are actually rivals. So, and Jamie Wilson wants that position back. He wants to get back on that third spot at the podium, and it looks like he's doing a good job of getting back up to the 14 as they're getting ever closer, and the gap is under a second now between those two. So this is the closest battle on the field right now, as we've got nobody else that's brought it down pit road yet. So Jamie Wilson, Andrew Kinsella, the closest battle in the field right now. Actually, I take that back. We've got Niall McBride and Bradley Walters getting into a battle as well now.
That's about the only other battle that you're going to see on track right now, is the entire field just strung right out. And it all goes back to what we discussed in the pre-race, with the fact that you're right on the ragged edge, and you have to be for all 40 laps. You can't make a mistake, you can't take a breather, and you've got to hope to stay out of anyone else's dumpster fire in order to be successful here tonight. And you know, luckily for Joshua Chin, everything has so far fallen his way.
Absolutely, as we're still watching Kinsella and Wilson battling it out there for that third spot. Let's just give a quick mention that this is the first round of the Huizingveld Triple Crown Challenge. Whoever wins here and wins the next two races will win a top money prize, and it looks like Joshua Chin is on his way to doing so, unless the wheels fall off. That thing is already 13.5 seconds up the road. Next week, well, tonight is the big one before the big one, Tony. Next week is the Indy Elite Series, Indy 500.
Very exciting to hear that that's going to be happening. That's going to be on Race Spot, so be able to tune in on the regular broadcast channel for that one, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, as another broadcaster, I normally don't watch other broadcasts, only because I don't want to, you know, be influenced by, okay, that's how they do it, that's how I should do it. That one I'm actually going to watch, because I want to see what's going to happen in the Indy 500 for the Indy Elite Series.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see Will Vincent and the boys. Will Vincent has been looking forward to the month of May for, well, since last May. So him, just as all the other broadcasters, that includes us as well, we always look forward to the month of May, because that is where the best action on iRacing comes out, at this very track. So we're going to have our own Indy 500 kind of thing coming up soon as well, so don't miss that. We've got the Top Fuel Racing Indy 500 coming up in May as well, so both of Broadcasting is going to get their own month of May event. Do not miss it.
Well, speaking of month of May, you know, I love the month of May as a real-life racing fan as well, because this is when most local tracks also start up. And it's weird to me, being a short track oval fan, to see a gap of 13 seconds from first to second, and everybody's still on the lead lap, because, you know, to me, 13 seconds is a lap.
Yeah, and speaking of gaps there, we're looking back at the battle between Andrew Kinsella and Jamie Wilson, and look at the distance between the two now. Less than half a second between Kinsella and Wilson, and its battle lines are drawn, and it's game on right now, as we are now 6 laps to go.
6 laps to go, and they've got a lapper around them. Oh, here we go. Side by side down the front straightaway.
Oh,
and just like
what
that,
a move.
Wilson up into the podium.
And what a move there by Jamie Wilson, forcing his way up into third place, and I can't help but think that was a push-to-pass move right there. As Wilson is now up to third, so that battle started and ended quite quickly between the 14 and the 87, but he's not slowing down, is he, Kinsella? He's actually going to try and get onto the back of Wilson again, so he's not backing down out of this.
No quit in Kinsella right now, because he still knows there's plenty of time left. He saw the move Wilson made, and he's probably got some push to pass left himself. So, good possibility that we could see some payback within another lap or so.
Let's go to another battle we did mention before. That was between Niall McBride and Bradley Walters. They're battling it out for 9th place right now, as the gap is just a tick over a second between the two. Now it's gone under a second, as Bradley Walters is still driving like a man possessed, trying to get up to the back of that number 41 machine.
And if he's going to do it, this is the section to do it, because you can either make up or lose a lot of time in that switchback section that leads back out onto the oval, and he gets it all wrong there.
Yeah, Bradley Walters getting it all wrong again, as he's going to lose a lap to the race leader Joshua Chin. And I forgot to mention, it is 5 laps to go here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as Joshua Chin's going to make his way round the final corner and complete lap 35 and bring it on to 36 and bring it on to lap 37, sorry.
Okay, man. Sam, we know you're not a math major.
I know. High power consensus,
you're a racing major.
I know. Meanwhile, going back to the battle for 3rd place, this ongoing battle for 3rd place. Andrew Kinsella ever closer to the back of Wilson now, as they're resuming hostilities between the 14 and the 87 as we're getting closer to the end of this event. And Kinsella desperate to get that position back, as he's bouncing over the curbs going through 1 and 2.
Tell me he's not driving the wheels off that car, and I'll call you a liar. With as much of the curbing as he's using, and as high a risk as he's taking right now to try to get back around Wilson, Kinsella is just got to have his foot right through the floorboard.
Yeah, it's Kinsella. If you're just tuning in, Jamie Wilson putting one hell of a move on Andrew Kinsella and taking away that 3rd place. This is why Kinsella is driving like he is now, and look how close he is to the back of that gearbox of the 87 now, as he did make a slight mistake coming out of that turn there, as they made their way onto the oval part. I don't know if he's going to be in range enough to get the push to pass to work, as they make their way through the final turn right now, and he's not going to be close enough this time round, Tony.
Well, he's within 4/10, so I believe that's just barely enough.
And he's managed to get to the back of Wilson before turn 1, so he's right there. He's just got to find that momentum going through the S's, and he failed that on the last lap, so hopefully he's going to get that momentum this time round, as we're still focusing on this battle for 3rd place. 1st and 2nd are pretty much academic right now, as we are 3 laps remaining. Unless the wheels fall off, Joshua Chin and Adam Blocker are pretty much safe bets for 1st and 2nd right now.
Well, you got Josh Chin, who's over 16 seconds to the good over Adam Blocker, and Blocker is 9 seconds up the road from the battle that we're currently watching. So yeah, those are pretty much your 1-to-1 bets, the sucker bets, if you will, that they're just basically going to take your money at the betting tables
and take your lunch while they're at it.
Oh no, they'll give you free lunch while you're at the table.
Oh yeah. As we are now 2 laps remaining. If this was an oval race, the popsicle sticks will be out right now, but as this is a road course, there won't be popsicle sticks. It's just normal racing, as we say. As Joshua...
Are you sure you're British?
Yeah.
No, you're so in tune with oval racing. I find that difficult to believe, my friend.
I cut my teeth on iRacing through oval racing, so that's how I know a lot about it.
You're not wrong.
As we're seeing Joshua Chin making his way out of the S's and onto the oval again, as he is going to complete the penultimate lap of this race. He's catching up to the back of, that looks like Austin Espartee is catching up to the back of, and it is. Austin Espartee started 18th and has made his way up to 8th place, so a good run from him. I think he's the highest mover of the race tonight, so good on him, but still not the best of races for that 777. As Joshua Chin, white flag is out right now, and he is on his final lap. What can I say about this guy? He's going to make it 3 in a row tonight unless the wheels fall off the thing, and he's just been absolutely dominant tonight, Tony.
Total domination, led from the word go. Was over half a second to the good in hot laps. a quarter second to the good. Oh! Kinsella bombs it into one and almost collects Wilson. Joshua Chin just been the class of the field, but this battle for third is getting downright nasty.
As Kinsella locked him up big time going through the right-hander and has backed off a lot from Wilson as we see Joshua Chin making his way onto the oval now into the final couple of corners. There is Michael Peters, puts another lap on him, unfortunately, just to add insult to injury, as Joshua Chin makes it 3 in a row, gets the trifecta, and wins at Indianapolis Grand Prix.
In bowling, they'd call that a turkey.
Yeah. Adam Blocker's going to come home for second. He's just making his way through the final corner right now. Adam Blocker, good to see him on his return to the Indy Elite Series and getting that second place on a road course of all places. Let's go back to the battle between Wilson and Kinsella. Wilson's going to win this war as he makes it across the line and completes the third step of the podium. Kinsella, great battle in near the end, but just wasn't enough. He's going to come home in fourth. Henry Bennett, after his mistake and with a severely damaged front wing, is going to come home in fifth place. Not finished his lap just yet, but he is pretty academic right now as Liam Quinn is over 2.5 seconds behind him right now. He is going to just miss out on the top 5 tonight as Henry Bennett makes his way through the final corner and brings it home for fifth place. What could have been for Henry Bennett tonight? He had his eyes on a podium, and then that one mistake really cost him.
Well, it wasn't just that one mistake. It was, a conglomerate of, that mistake compounded by another mistake by someone else, compounded by, it was a cacophony of different things that played into, Bennett not ending up on the podium. Started third, finished fifth. Still a good run, but not the run he was hoping for.
Absolutely, as we're just watching Joshua Chin on his slowdown lap, taking in the plaudits from the crowd as he's making his way out of the S's now and towards pit road. Again, absolute dominance there by Chin, as it's going to be Team Chimera at 1 and 3 on the podium as well.
And if I'm not mistaken, the last time we were here with the Indy Elite Series, it was a similar situation.
Absolutely. It
was Chin and Wilson that time as well, I believe.
It was Chin and Kinsella last time.
No,
Kinsella's not a teammate, is he? So it wasn't.
Yeah, no. So, okay. So that answers that question, because we did find out last time that Kinsella was not part of Team Chimera. But definitely a complete dominant performance tonight. Going to be interesting to see what happens next week on Race Spot when they start turning left. So, going to be real interesting to see how that plays out. Joining us right now, fourth place finisher Andrew Kinsella. Andrew, we saw the hard charge going into that last lap. Talk us through the what happened, and were you willing to risk it all, or were you just trying to not kill Jamie but still get the spot?
Obviously you always want to race clean. Jamie raced me clean all race and has all season really. We've been racing around each other a lot in different leagues, so I knew that Jamie would defend but not overly defend, and I was just looking for an opening. Unfortunately, I made a small mistake in I think it was turn 4 there, and that was it, because I knew that as soon as he got just that little bit of a gap, I couldn't catch him. So hats off to him. He did a great race, good recovery drive. I'm not sure what happened. It looked like into the final section there, the one race, or the one lap, but he was probably a little bit faster than I was, to be quite honest, and it was just nice to be racing with him yet again this season.
Well, it was definitely an interesting battle to watch for the last part of the race. Looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next week when you guys start turning left at the same facility, and for the Indy 500 for the Indy Elite Series.
Yeah, absolutely. Very excited about that. Obviously, I need to defend my crown there, and I think we've got a really good set shaping up for it, and just got to sort of bear down here in this next week and get everything finalized for it, and hopefully we can come up with the same result as last year.
Well, best of luck to you, and we're looking forward to seeing how that turns out next week on RaceSpot TV, sir.
Thank you very much.
And joining us now, the man of the hour,
Mr. Three-time,
was completely dominant from the time the haulers rolled into the facility to the time the checkered flag flew. The car to beat, Mr. Joshua Chin.
You've got to be one happy guy then, Joshua. How does it feel to win your third race in a row, sir?
It feels pretty good. I wasn't imagining having 4 wins at this point in the season, but the road courses have been good, and Milwaukee was good to me. But I love this place. It's a track that's a little tricky, and some people, there's sections that we literally call Mickey Mouse in practice, but overall really, really fun to drive on.
So just the amount of direction changes that this facility has, how the average racing fan, talk them through how difficult that truly can be to get the car to constantly change direction and still maintain it under control, especially when you've got close to 800 horsepower under your right foot.
Yeah, it's really difficult going through a lot of the corners. There's a lot of left-right, right-left sections that you're kind of sitting there waiting for the car to make its direction change, and there's some things you can do with setup with roll bars and springs, but for the most part you're having to kind of aim the car even before you get to the corner. Honestly, there were some corners where I'm aiming like at the end of the backstretch where I was aiming 3 corners ahead where I was going to be before I ever got to that corner. It's just a lot of, basically you're trying to finesse the car, but at the same time you're doing this at 100 miles an hour. It's pretty quick.
Fair enough, but almost 17 and a half seconds to the good over Adam Blocker. That's something to really hang your hat on, as we know that in the official iRacing series, you two are usually, if you two show up, chances are everybody else is racing for third in the official stuff. So 17 and a half seconds to the good. How are you feeling right now?
Well, it should have been more, but I had a dumb spin and kind of put myself in a bad spot. But I was able to get back going before the pit stop. But the car was just on rails, and I think everyone on Power Slide and Absolute Zero Team Chimera can agree it was a fast car. I've done a lot of setups, but that's honestly probably one of my favorites of all time.
Okay, so talk to us your thoughts about going into next week's Indy 500 here in the Indy Elite Series.
I like Indy. I don't have very good luck there for whatever reason. I think last year shows it, and 3 years ago when Nigel passed me on the outside, I'm still salty about that. But I like Indy. I think I'm pretty good there. I'm maybe not up to the pace of Christian and Austin and Andrew and those guys when it comes to the oval itself, but I think I can race around there decently, and the certain individual that got me last year isn't in this series, so I think I got a good shot.
And let's not forget, Joshua, this was the first round of the Heusinkveld Triple Crown Challenge. You've got 2 more chances to win before you can actually claim the Triple Crown. Do you reckon you've got a good chance to claim it?
I mean, if it's on road courses, I got a good shot. But I thought the first one was the 500, or am I?
I think I remember Joe saying it was this one. This one Pocono, and the third one. Let's have a look and see what it is. The third one is actually Michigan, so it's here, Pocono and Michigan. So, yeah, you got round 1. You just need to get Pocono and Michigan now, by the looks of things.
Oh, that's easy enough. I like both of those.
Easy enough, he says. All right. Well, Josh, we're looking forward to seeing how things turn out for you next week. Congratulations on the win tonight, and best of luck to you in the 500.
Hey, you guys. Thanks for the broadcast. Make sure everyone watches next week. RaceSpot, Indy 500. It'll be a good time.
We'll be there.
I know I'll be tuning into RaceSpot next week.
Okay, that was Joshua Chin, and joining us in the booth as well now is our second place finisher tonight. Adam, you had a good result there tonight, but you just didn't have enough there for Joshua. How are you feeling about tonight's second place?
Well, considering I didn't know I was going to race this race till an hour and a half before it, I feel pretty good about it. I clearly didn't have anywhere close to the pace for Josh, but, I think I had, pretty good pace overall. Normally I'm pretty decent at fuel-saving races, apparently, so, I was pretty disappointed with qualifying, because I qualified 5th, but, I was able to make a couple places up on the first lap, and I was able to manage my fuel pretty well and hold pace, so got a pretty good result and kept it clean. Seems like a good bit of other guys made mistakes, so.
Yeah, one of your main rivals in that race in the early running was Henry Bennett, and he did make a mistake after the first round of pit stops. Do you reckon Henry would have been one of your biggest challenges for that second spot, or do you reckon you had enough in that car to actually stay in that second place if Henry didn't make that mistake?
It would have been close. I talked to Henry after the race. He said he was going to try to go 21 laps in the first stint. That's why he was kind of slow. And so if he was trying to do that, it depended on if he made the 21 laps, then he would have been really fast in the second stint. I think I probably would have lost the position to him. If he had only gone 20 laps and then he would have had to save 20 in the second stint, I think I probably would have had him. So it just depends on where he was on his fuel numbers and stuff. So, but I think, yeah. So I don't really know, but normally Henry and I are pretty comparable pace, so it would have been close.
And
next week the series moves from the road version of this track to the oval. We all know that you're usually one of the people to beat in the official series 500. Talk to us your thoughts going into next week's event.
Well, ovals really normally aren't my thing, but Indy is one of the ovals I think I'm really good at. So I'm always optimistic when we go to Indy. I love Indy. The racing there is great. And it's also a really special race in the IndyCar. So, I always look forward to it, and I know I have a chance of winning as long as things go my way. But definitely looking for a decent result.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
Absolutely. As the 500 is next week, and I know you say you think you're good at the Indy 500s, but I've seen you race in many of the Indy 500s, and I know you're really pretty damn good around here. So, yeah, you've got to be having high hopes going into next week's event. And do you reckon you've got enough of a car for next week to challenge for the front?
I don't know. It's hard to say until we go into it. I know there's a lot of strong guys in this league at Indy, so just between my team, at Power Slide, you got Espiti and Kinsella, and Chin's gonna be strong. Henry's gonna be strong, and if Steele races, he's gonna be strong. So there's a lot of guys that are really strong. So I'm not gonna say anything. I'll definitely if I get to top 5, I'll be happy with that. So.
Absolutely. And Adam, congratulations on getting the second place. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to for tonight's position?
I want to give a shout out to Joe Wrench for letting me in the league at last minute. I want to give thanks to Josh Chin and Andrew for doing the setup. I didn't contribute at all to the setup, not even gonna lie. And yeah, I just want to thank all the guys I raced with. It was a pretty clean race. Didn't have any issues with traffic or anything like that. So I was pretty pleased with the quality of driving. So yeah, and I want to thank you guys for calling the race too.
It was our pleasure to call it. Congratulations on the podium, and best of luck to you next week at the Indy Elite Series Indy 500. Again, folks, you can catch that on the normal broadcast team's page, Race Spot TV.
All right, Adam, see you next week.
Yes, yeah.
Right, Tony. Pure dominance by Joshua Chin, but a lot of close racing behind him.
A lot of close racing behind him. The field kind of was strung out a little bit, but there were still good battles throughout the rest of the field.
Absolutely.
But Sam, I think that's going to about do it for us from Indy.
Yeah.
We have to hurry up and get over to Auto Club Speedway.
Yeah, we've got a flight to catch to get over to Auto Club. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for tonight's broadcast. We have been having a good time here at Indianapolis. Let me just find some music. No, let's just continue with that one. But anyway, yeah, let's go to the close of the show as we've got to rush off to Auto Club. But fantastic racing here tonight. We're going to say goodbye now as this is Sam Cooper Bennett in the booth with you, Tony Trapasso with you too. All that's left for me to say tonight is keep it clean, keep it green, and we will see you in a few minutes from Auto Club with the IndyCar Speedway League.